Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, and today is hopefully the big day. We have run the engine for the 32 Roadster project a bunch of times, and we pretty much got all the leaks sorted out, and we just have a couple little things we want to do on this old intake manifold to get some old fittings out of it. And we're going to be slapping this sucker into the 32 Roadster in this video. So we have to do a little bit of preparation, put some gaskets and seals into the rear end and the torque tube, and then get a clutch and everything on this. But hopefully by the end of this video we'll have this kick-ass engine mounted in our 32 Roadster, and I cannot wait. So let's get started. So this intake here is what we're working on. These were actually plumbed, as we mentioned earlier, for coolant, and it just helps actually heat the manifold up when it's cold out so that it doesn't frost up. You can see that they had some plugs on this side already. This intake is this is one of the earliest high-rise intakes that they made on the Jack Henry, so it's very desirable, and obviously it's been well used. We've already had to drill and put some inserts in some of the carb studs. This thing's already had a bunch of work just to run it. These ports we didn't get off, and they are pretty stuck in, these pipe plugs. This is obviously where they were running coolant last on the last time this thing was on an engine and running, probably in the 40s or 50s. And we want to get these off and probably just plug them for now, but either way we want to get these fittings out, so they are pretty stuck in. I'm going to probably have to use the torch and just dance around it a little bit to get the metal loosened up, and hopefully it doesn't take the threads with it. So that's our first project here, is to carefully get these fittings out without wrecking this very rare and expensive intake. Come on this side? Yep. I'm going to change my mind again. Ready? Yep. May want to switch to that ratchet wrench soon. It's turning a little easier. Whatever works. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it just got past the spot there. Yep. Yep. That feels like it might come out now. Yeah, just go all the way now. Okay. If it's turning easy like that, you just, once it gets tight. Tighten it up right there again. Heat it again. Yep. Try and save the threads as much as we can. You feel when you get that right temperature, it just starts turning out nice. Yeah, that's exactly what it did that time. Must be a little crap on the end of the thread inside there. Sure. A lot of corrosion. Mm-hmm. Ready? Yep. Oh yeah. It's just that magical temperature, and it tightens up again, and then you gotta, might be past it. Yep, we are. It's coming out now. Good. Surgical. You don't touch your finger on it. No, I'm getting antsy. Antsy, yeah. But I'm trying really hard not to just grab the darn thing. You'll pay for it. Yeah, I know. I'll pay dearly. Especially being a pipe thread. Mm-hmm. It's gonna get looser as you turn it out. All right. Ooh, there we go. That's the sweet spot. Yep. Get that right temperature, man. Is everything just... Oh boy, look at that, yeah. Doing what we want.
Yep, it's gonna turn out. Good. Oh yeah. There we go.
Good. Okay. All right, so we have the engine pretty much stripped down and it's about ready to go in the car aside from a clutch. We ended up having to fix a handful of things on this intake. You guys saw we were heating the intake to get these pieces off, so we just put plugs in these just so it looks a little better. What was in there wouldn't have mattered, but those like cut off pieces of hose didn't look good. I'm waiting for some black oxide bolts in the mail, so we will replace those eventually. We ended up having to drill and tap these 2 vacuum spots on it. This intake has like a crap ton of like ports on it all over, so we made a plug for that. But this plug here was a vacuum port, and that one back there, and both of these were like totally stripped out. So I ended up having to do, because they actually were set up for like a seat in there, I ended up drilling them all the way through and just tapping them with a pipe plug, which was like basically the next size up. We didn't have to drill very much. So now we have a fitting in here that has a seat in it. So it's a pipe thread, goes into the intake, and then it has a seat inside of that so that we can do a flare fitting with a piece of hardline. So we will get our vacuum gauge hooked back up like the car has. So that's all in. Next thing is the clutch setup. We were about to throw the trans in, and luckily I remembered an issue I had on one of my other cars. I think it might have been the Free T, honestly. I forgot. I don't know where that other one's at. It's over on the lathe. Anyways, this is like the arm that goes through. So you can see this one has a like an arm with an eye on it. The style that was in that trans, which is I think what's correct for it. Sorry, I'm walking all over because we were figuring this out a few minutes ago. This style has this little flat section, and it would have a little fork that would go on it. Different style of mount. So the later cars, once you got into, I think like 37 and up, maybe it's even 42 and up, I don't remember. Anyways, especially 59 ABs, they got this style activation of the clutch, if you will. And what we need is, this car has a modified set of 39 pedals in it for juice brakes, and it is set up for the style with using an arm. So we took this, we had to knock, there's a rivet in here you have to knock out, then you could take this fork off and you could slide this shaft all the way through. We showed it in the Model A stuff for the Roadster pickup, and that's what we had to do here. So we slid this all apart, put it on the lathe, and sanded everything so it fits real nice, and then we have it set right now so you can just take these arms off. So this is a 39 style arm. You can see the offset of the arm. 32 is kind of like straight and has or longer and has like a whoop in it, if you will. You can see this one I was holding earlier style, they're straight up. So you need to make sure that you get one that lines up with your pedals. So this 39 one is pretty close when I slide it on there. You can see, I don't know if I'll be able to get it lined up with the camera in my hand, but anyways, it's lined up pretty close. So probably what they did back in the day was heat and bend this arm in just a little bit to get it to line up, or maybe they put a Z in the linkage. But this is the correct arm we need. That's why I keep a lot of this stuff laying around. I have a ton of these different arms laying around that you can kind of go through your selection and see what you need. But you could see the difference in these arms on the bench here. So there's all different ones. They all have part numbers on them. Like this one says 91A is the prefix. That's for 39 Ford. So that's how we knew that was a 39 one. Some of them will have like 48 on it for like 35.6, etc., etc. So you just got to find the one that works for you. The shafts are all basically the same. It's just a rivet that you have to grind the head down and then you can punch it through. This one obviously has been walled out a little bit. We may have to close that up and re-drill it. But that's just a word for the wise. If you're doing this, don't just throw your 39 trans right into your car without thinking about what shaft you need, because you need to have the trans out to do all of this, and it really sucks to realize when your car is almost done that you got to pull the trans to take care of this. So just a word of the wise. So we're gonna throw this on, get a pin in it, get everything buttoned up, and put a few seals in the torque tube, and we are just about ready to throw this engine in.
It's on the shaft. Just gotta.
Just gotta rotate it. There we go. That's our string. There we go. That'll hold the weight. And we can just pull everything together. Did you use the clutch tool to put that in? Okay, you found it. Then start swinging your... Can't go any either this way. Go here. Yeah, we're gonna just fiddle with all these cars here.
Threading the needle.
Okay. That might be... Let's see what we're doing here. I don't want to put the engine in. You're against the front. I'll get underneath and yep. All right. I think it's starting to slide in.
I think it feels like the front end is still up because you still.
It is. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
Now let it down like a quick.
Gotcha. Coming at you. Watch.
We're in the spines. It's
Oh,
down.
good.
But once you put too much weight on it, I can't manipulate it.
Yep. Gotcha.
So we're trying to push in now.
Oh, okay.
The body's out from underneath it.
Gotcha.
I don't think it's going to drop so much that the running boards will sit on me. But...
Right. You good? You're in the hole.
Okay.
All right, coming down. All right, the weight's off the chain.
Okay. Well, if it's, I'm coming in and out easy now, so it's just a matter of probably compressing everything.
Yeah, I need like a half or more thread on that one.
How's that?
That'll probably work. Yep. That's good. I got a couple threads started.
It's just because they're all new mounts.
Yeah.
That-
Got to press them down.
Yep. Woo. So I have to tighten it down
A little at a time.
and then put the washers back on.
Yeah.
We'll get that. Damn. I knew I was going to get dirty today. It was on the agenda. I don't know when those bolts are going to show up. I ordered. Oh yeah, brother.
And there are 2 carburetor gaskets on it now.
I saw that.
That's just embarrassing.
And it ran good. Imagine how good it's going to run with 2 gaskets.
Yes, right?
Let's see here. Is this the rear or the front?
I marked the red cap inside of it, an R and F.
That's it. Also, like, this has the early bases. Do we have a gasket that...
We probably do have an early base gasket.
That's over there?
Yeah, top drawer or something I think is where I had all the gaskets.
Yep. take you here. These are the OCD things that you should expect by now.
Oh, absolutely.
Got
I
two
would
early
expect nothing
base
less.
carburetors. We can't put an early light base gasket on it early. That's just, it bothers me that that one's not black, but
Hopefully it'll be all hidden.
I think it will with the correct.
There it is, yep.
Just have this loose that it went.
I tightened it back down so it wouldn't fall out. I got
Oh,
a
okay.
screwdriver.
No big deal. Paper. How hard was this generator to get on is the next, or the fan? Well, ouchies. Of course I got off the fucking thing. I feel like I'm doing something wrong here. Is this that tight?
It was snug, yeah.
I thought when it was running it looked like it was loose, but... Alright, so we got the engine in, engine trans, everything bolted together. As always, it's a little bit of a hassle to get the, when you do it this way, to get the transmission and the trans and the clutch to all marry together. But with these torque tube cars, sometimes it's easier to do it that way because it's even harder to get the trans to go into the torque tube, into the drive shaft. So we chose to do it this way. Worked out just fine. And it is all in. We already, as you can see in the last, in between the last shots of putting it in, and now has started to put some parts back on it. So we put the carbs, the intake, all that stuff back on it. We put the generator on it, which we've already converted to 12 volt. It is a 37 generator, which is like a 37, 38 maybe, or like kind of like an early style generator where it has the bolt-on fan on the generator, but it does not have an external cutout on it like the earlier ones did. So it's a good fan to use. If you can find one of those, you can do the same swap that we've showed you in other videos where you take a Y-block 12 volt generator and you take the case off of it and you swap the guts and you now have a factory looking 12 volt generator. So we'll get faster cranking, better charging, and but it still looks old, which is great. And we're not using a modern fake generator. I think this is a really good look for this car. So we worked on getting the hoses. I got some hoses I modified that I think are 39 or 44 style hoses that I just trimmed a little bit, got the flow really nicely, and this thing is looking really cool. I'm super psyched. So now we got all this together, we need to start working on just making it a car. So doing brake lines, fuel lines, wiring it. We're going to be doing a video where I'm going to modify the gas tank just how it was back in the day with the thread-on cap that allowed it to be pressurized, and we're going to get that back panel dusted with some paint and just start buttoning things up and getting this thing more like an actual car. So I cannot wait to get this thing to fire in the car for the first time. It's going to be really, really exciting, and we are only a handful of videos away from doing that. So thank you guys for following along. Let me know what you think of the new engine that is mounted in the 32 Roadster. Thanks guys. Catch you later.